This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You are watching or listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, bringing you your daily dose of business and technology to educate, empower, and inspire small business owners. Be sure to subscribe to the show today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. Got a great show for you today. Listen, I know a lot of times you guys are on your computer and you see like all of these updates and they're taking up a lot of memory on your computer. You're like, what the heck is going on? Well, today we got a great guest and she's going to be talking about this new update coming from Windows 10. Well, the fact that Windows 10 is not going to be around anymore. What you need to be thinking about. And I thought this was really important because I know for me, I wouldn't say that I'm a tech expert, but I'm a little bit of a geek. So when things happen, I'm trying to figure it all out. And normally I do, but a little bit of time, normally I figure it out, make it better than I tell other people. But she's an expert. So she's going to tell you what you need to know about this new Windows 10 being retired, what you need to expect, and all of that good stuff. She's also a cybersecurity expert. So we're going to see, can we get a little bit of Windows technology out of her and a little bit of cybersecurity for the small business entrepreneur, like for the solopreneurs, for the person that has a PC. They don't have a Mac, they have a PC, they may have a Mac, but they say Macs are the best. I don't know, I got a PC. So we're going to have her to the show. But before I go, listen, do me a favor. Before we even get started, go to the site, Good Morning Gwinnett, subscribe to the show, share it with 2 friends, and this helps us rank well in the algorithms. If you're watching this on Facebook, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, go to the show, subscribe to the show. This is going to help me move the show to the next level. So I'm excited about that. I thank you in advance for your support. So without further ado, let me bring up to the stage Miss Lynette Furr. She is going to talk to us about what to expect from the retirement of Windows 10s. And welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Audrey, as usual, you are awesome. Thank you for inviting me on the show. I'm excited for what we're going to announce to everyone today.
Yeah. So Lynette is one of the members of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. And by the way, if you're not a member, we invite you to become a member of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce, where we take your business serious, just like you do. That was my commercial. And we're always happy to bring our members up to share what they do, because here's the thing. We are small business owners. Some of us are micro business owners, and every little bit of exposure that we can give to our members, that's what we thrive to do. So without further ado, Lynette, a lot of times people see these updates on there. I can tell you right now, last month, my computer was acting so crazy, and it's pretty new. Like, it kept saying I was out of memory, I'm deleting stuff, I'm messing up stuff. I was losing my mind. So finally I closed out Google Windows Meet or something, whatever the Meet one is, right? I closed that completely out and it freed up all this space and my computer was fine. I was like, you mean to tell me for a month I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with my computer? I'm like, I can't be out of memory. I just got the computer. I think it was Google Meet that was like clogging up my memory, and it was jacking it up. And so when I finally said, let me just close everything on my startup menu, and Google Meet was one of, when I did that, everything went back to normal. So a lot of us have grown up with Windows, so we know Windows. I know that Windows has some big things that's about to happen and they're going to be retiring Windows 10. So I'm going to let you tell people about what that means and what they should be doing, and what, if they can't do it, who they need to call.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. So you're absolutely right. Most of the time we are often just going along our day and working on the computers, and as long as it's working, we're great. And then we get these little pop-ups every once in a while, and it'll say things like, it'll tell you when things are going on, but we usually ignore them. So what I want everybody to do is not to ignore this particular update. So Microsoft, every 4 years or so, they usually change out and go to a different version of Windows. And so for those who are operating on Windows, you may say, well, how do we know if we're running on Windows 10, 11, or whatever for that matter. So a good way of checking is you go to right click on your icon at the bottom right corner. It could be in the middle. Is an icon. It looks like a little Windows symbol. You right click on that and then you go to system. And then you, in the middle of that page, you scroll all the way down to the very bottom and you should see it tell you what version of Windows you're on. If it says Windows 10 Home or Windows 10 anything, you may say Pro, it may say Enterprise, it may say Business. Either which way it goes, you need to make sure that you're able to update it come October the 14th of this year. That is next month. We are on the countdown. So Microsoft has said, hey, we've allowed you to use our wonderful Windows 10 for several years now, and it's time for us to expire. And what does that mean? When we say expire, meaning they're no longer going to support you. And that where the cybersecurity part comes in at, the hackers love to get in our computers or systems any which way they can. So we open the door for them when we don't do the updates that are coming up for us. And there's an update for a reason. Usually an update are security oriented. It could be update to your drivers that's on your computers to make it work right, to be able to see things and to be able to hear things. So it's a combination of various things that the update does, but the most important one is the security updates. So whenever you are on your computer next, just go and do a quick check. We are able to help you if you don't know what to do at that point. We do have a promotion going on now with the Gwinnett Women's Chamber, and Audrey will tell you a little bit more about that a little later. The biggest thing is to make sure that there is an update. What we've done is we've decided that we'll do an assessment with you, and an assessment would allow us to come in, you fill out the form that we have for you, you pay for the fee. The fee right now is we have a $249 special. You have to have the code. That code is very specific to the Gwinnett Women's Chamber. So you can have, if you put the code in there, GWC, it will take it from $349 to $249. What does that entail? Okay, glad you asked. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to remote in. So when you fill out the form, you pay. Once you pay, it'll allow you to book your appointment with us. We'll get on Zoom session with you, and then we'll remote in and verify what you have now. And then we'll determine if you can upgrade. If you can, then great, we'll do that for you. And then if you cannot upgrade, we will let you know what you need to do. If there's some new equipment that you need to buy because of this upgrade. Sometimes with this update, if your hardware, meaning everything inside your computer, is too old, then the recommendation would be for you to buy a new computer. We can help you with that, or we can just point you to how to buy a new computer and what to buy, and make sure that it's going to help you in your business to continue to run. And most importantly, after that, if we decide that, okay, you need a new computer, then what we'll do is we'll take the monies that you've already paid, put that on towards setting it up for you remotely, that is, and then you'll be good to go.
So Lynette, so let's go back to exactly helping people understand why these updates are important. So a lot of times, the computer automatically updates itself, right? Like Windows take up so much space in our updates till it takes up a lot of our memory, and it'll just do it. Or we'll come in there and we'll turn the computer on and it says, don't turn it off. We're doing an update, and it takes about 10, 15 minutes. So why is this important? Because I just checked mine when you were talking. I'm on Windows 11 Home Edition. First, let's talk about the edition. Should I be on the Enterprise edition? It's just me at home, so I don't know if I should need to be on the Enterprise. But is there a difference between being on a Enterprise or small business versus a Home edition? Let's start there first, and then I'll talk about the updates.
Excellent question. Thank you for asking that, Audrey, because I was going to mention that. A lot of businesses, what we're finding is some of the people we've already helped, because we rolled this out to some of the other chambers as well. And so when we get on with them, what we're finding is that they may have Windows 11 already, but they have Home Edition. So depending on your industry, I want to just tell you my personal opinion is you should always have a professional edition. There's different levels. There's Windows Home, which is really consumer based, right? It's not as secure. Windows Professional is the recommendation. And then you have Enterprise and Business. Usually, as long as you have Windows Pro, Professional is it's going to say Pro, and then Professional for the long, Pro. It may say Pro. Windows Pro will be the short word, but it's actually stand for Professional. We recommend you do that. Why? Because whenever you're, let's say that you log into your computer, it's an enterprise level of Windows, so it gives you more security. When you have your email address through Google or through Microsoft, especially, let's say that your business email address is associated with Microsoft. Then when we set our clients up, what we do is we allow them to log in with the computer with that email address. And when you do that on the back end, it's able to, we can always check to see what's going on when someone is logging in, when somebody's logging out. If you're logging in this state right now, and then a couple of minutes later, you're logging in another state, we would know that, and then we'll be able to, obviously you can't be in two states in a matter of minutes. So that would help us also to protect you more in the security realm as well.
So there are a lot of people who they may not use their computer as much, but they use it. But it's not like I use mine all day, every day, twice on Sundays. I use it a lot. So I have 3 computers in this office right now. 2 of them don't work. And I have 2 in the closet, and I have 1 in my office. So I have a bunch of computers. Some people don't use their computers as often. Is it still necessary for them to do the Windows 11 update, even if they're not on their computer? Like my husband, he doesn't use his computer very often. He uses it every now and again just to search something. So for a person like him who don't use their computer, is it still necessary for them to change over or to make the update to Windows 11? And if so, why?
It's important for everyone. Doesn't matter what you're doing with it or not doing with it, how often you're using your computers, everyone needs to have the base level of security and updates installed. A lot of times what we tell our clients is what we do is we have, we're a managed service provider company. And what does that mean? We manage their security, their technology on an outsourced basis. And so we do proactive support, not reactive. And a lot of times we are installing different tools because in order for us to make sure our clients are safe, it's a holistic approach. We can't just install one tool. Most people say, well, I got antivirus software. Am I good? No. A lot of people will say, well, I'm a small company. Why does it matter? I'm really just, like you say, using it every so often. I even suggest that even for home users, that having the professional version of Windows, anytime we help our clients, whether they're commercial or not, we make sure that they have professional version of Windows. And really because of the security features, extra for security features that they have on it. So you always want to stay up to date. It's like owning a home and you don't lock the door. You just go to sleep and you don't lock the door. Well, you're opening up your house to people to come in while you're asleep. So it's the same way with the computers. The least amount of time that you do the updates, or if you keep waiting, you don't let it reboot and go on and do the updates, the more chances you have of hackers getting in during that time and doing things. And most of the times we don't know when they're in. They're in for a good period of time. They just don't let you know because they're monitoring what you're doing so that they'll know whenever they do their attack, they'll know what the attack, they're watching the emails that you're sending, who you're sending it to, your clients that you're sending it to, even if you're just paying bills personally. Like you said, your husband may go on and pay a few bills or go to his email. Anything that you're doing on the computer is very important to have the most recent updates.
I think a lot of times people think it's a lot of money because I've always I've always used Windows. I've never used Mac. My daughter is a Mac lover, so I've always used Windows, and so I've always had like the paid version because I wanted to make sure I had enough email space and I wanted to make sure I had access to all the. I've been using Microsoft products since 1997 or 4 or something, when they had Microsoft front page. This how far back I go. So I've always used it. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever had professional. And I was just looking at the price point of what professional is. It's about the same as what I pay for home edition. Like I think I pay, and I'm on a monthly subscription. I want to say it's $14.99 a month or something. And then to get the professional is like 190 for the year, something crazy. So now I feel like I need to switch over, which is what I'll probably do. Right now there's somebody saying I'll skip the update, right? I'll skip the update because I'm not a tech person, so I don't know what's going on. To that person, I know you said you need to make sure you have the updates, but how can they move forward knowing that my computer is safe, it's up to date? Should they call you and set that thing up? Is it something that they say, you know what, I want to do this, or I don't have the budget? I mean, because a lot of times it comes down to budget. I don't look at it like that. I look at everything I do for my business as an investment in my business. Now, some things I may say, that's not in the budget right now, but it's important. So I plan for that. I need to make sure that I did that yesterday. Like there's something I gotta pay that's like that I need to get. Well, I don't need to get it. I probably just want to get it, but it's like a few grand, right? So I'm looking at like, okay, I want to get this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I want to get this. I need to figure out how to get this. When it comes to this, a lot of people just kind of blow it off like, oh, it's Windows, it's gonna do what it's gonna do, it's gonna automatically update, but it won't. And so if they decide not to do the update and nobody's at Windows answering the phones to answer these questions, what do? Can they come to you after the fact, or should they be proactive like you're saying?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, when we're meeting with the clients that has Windows 11 already and didn't know it, which is great. Like I said before, like you said, you notice you have home. What we're doing is we're helping them to upgrade that over to Windows 11 Pro Professional. And it's $99 to do it. It's a one-time fee. So you pay the $99 direct to Microsoft or whoever you have it through. Now, a lot of these, we are finding that a lot of our clients are doing the best they can, right? So they go and they get an email. Let's say they get an email, professional email, which we recommend everybody have professional email, not a personal email through Gmail that you've gone in and put your business name in front of it. And then at the end, it says @gmail.com. You want to represent your own company, not Gmail or Google. I love them, but you want to always look professional and you want to have your brand to follow you. So you want to have a professional email. So in that professional email, if you choose to buy it direct from Microsoft, most people don't. They go through GoDaddy, for example. They buy it through GoDaddy. They go in, they buy their domain, which is their website. So anytime you see someone's email address, I tell people this little trick. Most of the time when you see an email address, anything past the @ symbol, it usually represents their website. So they go and buy that domain name from GoDaddy, and then it'll be a little pop-up and say, do you want to go on and get an email? And so most people say yes. They get the email, and now they got a Microsoft email, and they got protection, and all that's great. But then there's many things you can't do when you use GoDaddy's version of Microsoft. And so what we tell our clients is, that's great. I'm glad you've done that. But the biggest thing is we need to upgrade, first your Windows from home to professional. And then secondly, we migrate them off of GoDaddy over to Microsoft Direct. With the vendor that we use, because when you need support from Microsoft, you asked about support, calling Microsoft to get support, even for myself, could take quite a while. You have to wait a while. They have to assign someone to you. Then they call you. It may be the next day, the next 2 or 3 days from now, but it's the support level is not so great. So that's why we partner with our own. We have an alliance with a company called, y'all may have seen the commercials that come on quite often now, Pax8. So with Pax8 as our vendor, we go through them and we get our licenses for various different software, especially for Microsoft. So when we need to support our clients, we call them, not Microsoft. So that we're in that case, we're able to get support immediately and not have to wait days and months, a periods of time to get the support. So that would be my recommendation on that. Go ahead on and upgrade. If you know how to do it yourself, then that's great. If not, please give us a call. We can be reached at 404-935-4114. That's 404-935-4114. And my direct extension is 101. So that would be the way to reach us. And then our website, obviously we have our website is www.I as in ignite, CARET as in Tom, ECH, geeks with an S.com. And the best way, I'm assuming that we will have that as well, Audrey, you will have the link for them in the on the YouTube page for them to be able to go and sign up, and then put the code in there for them to sign up to be able to get us to help them in that way as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so I got a question though, real quick before we go. You talked about you said people that buy the email, that's a good thing from GoDaddy. Now they got to match the email, which is great. But you also said you need to not have it there. Why is it that they should not use even though they have the email that matches their domain, but you said it shouldn't be on GoDaddy? Why not? Like what? Because when I think about email, I don't really have a problem with my email. So it's just people sending me emails. Why should they move their emails from GoDaddy if that's where they registered to Microsoft?
Because whenever I mentioned earlier the security measures, when you get your email through GoDaddy, they have phenomenal support. I give them that. But the problem is that when you get, there's certain things that they do, they kind of make it easy for people to manage their own email, if you will. And so for us as managed service providers who's security focused company, it's certain things we can't go in and help you with because they've put on their own version of Microsoft. So they've put on some on the front end, make it easy for you. So they make it where you can just hit add email or add another user. But on the back end, we need to be able to do that. And what happens is your security is different. And we can't do certain things when you have your Microsoft email through GoDaddy and all these other platforms. I think, there are other platforms that sell emails, and GoDaddy is one of their highest resellers, though. And so that basically security, and are certain things we can't do when you have it through them. So that's why we usually recommend migrating it. And we migrate them sooner than later, especially if they just got it. A lot of times, some people have just gotten it, and then sometimes they've had it for a while. So we, navigate them and help them kind of get off of that version of it. So later on, we always design with the end in mind. So if something comes up and we need to make sure that you're compliant, you may need to be HIPAA compliant. You may need to be some of the financial sector that we work with. They need to be FTC safeguard compliant. There's all kind of compliance that you need to have. And if you can't control that part of it, I'm trying to explain it, the easiest way. If you can't control that part, then how compliant are you? So that's the reason why we recommend them coming off of it. I must admit, I fell in that category. I got it many years ago. And then as I migrated off, it's been very challenging because, I actually called in to GoDaddy once and I said, listen, I need to be able to do this, this, and this. I want to log into my computer with my email address. He said, ma'am, you would have to get rid of us and go straight directly to Microsoft because we don't allow that.
Wow. And see, I think that's what a lot of people don't know. Like they don't know like all these little nuances when they're trying to do the right thing. It's kind of like it almost makes you feel a little sick, like I'm trying to do the right thing and I'm still not doing the right thing. And so, when I think about email, now when you register the domain name, because I don't think you can register domain names at Microsoft. So when you register the domain name at GoDaddy or one of the other platforms, then should you then go to Microsoft to set it up? Because if they don't know to call you, somebody may be listening right now, or they may be in their car and they're not going to remember anything we said except for my email is not set up properly. Can they go to Windows after they buy the domain name from GoDaddy and then set up the email there? Like, is that how they would do it to make sure it's right?
Well, you can set it up a couple ways. So you buy the domain through whoever. It doesn't have to be GoDaddy. You could buy the domain through, I mean, there's many others, right? Just most people know about GoDaddy. They're the most highest reseller of domain names, but there are many others, right? So you can buy the domain. There's namecheap.com. There's many. And so you buy your domain. You don't have to have, and sometimes you even can get it through these, like you say, the hosting company is what we call those companies. So when you buy your domain through, let's say you buy it through GoDaddy, let's say it's abc.com. So then it'll pop up and say, hey, do you want to get an email address? And you say yes. So then pay for that. Then it says, do you want to get it'll say professional email. Then it says, do you want to get a website? And then they'll give you that. It's kind of like going to like wix.com and then it asks you the same thing. And so certain vendors have Microsoft emails and then certain vendors have business emails through Google. So it just depends on which platform you went through. After you've bought it, then it's what we call, the process is called migration. So you have to migrate it from whoever you bought, not the domain, but just the email itself. If you bought the domain and you haven't bought your email address yet, that's great. Then we can walk you through how to do that. We can order it on behalf of you. And then what we do is at that point, we're managing it for you. So we're managing your email for you. We're managing all your technology for you for, a brief monthly fee. It's a flat fee, a fee that you know what it's going to be every month and not something that keeps changing. So that's kind of how we would recommend what you do for that.
And now the fees that you charge for that service to monitor all its technology, does it depend on the size of the company or is it one flat fee across the board?
Yes, it depends on the size of the company, on the type of industry you're in, how many what we call devices or computers or devices that you're using, how many locations you have. If you're here in the States and you're in, in Florida, if you're in Atlanta, all of that matters. Most importantly, what the industry is. So if you're a healthcare facility, for example, then we need to make sure that you're HIPAA compliant. So we offer as little as needed for our clients, all the way up to as the max. So we can come in and be your chief AI officer for you, and all things AI, make sure you're secure in that aspect. Your chief security officer for you, make sure everything is done in that aspect. Your chief technology officer for you. Those are the high levels. And then we go down from there. And we also offer, just support, help desk support. Some companies already have technology, the technology taken care of. So we come in and we help them to bridge the gap. So if they have a team already, that's great. We can do what we call co-manage. So they may not want to deal with just the first level support, the second level support. So we come in and we assess everything. Everything we do is cybersecurity focused first. So no matter what, whether we're helping another team augment their team or whether we're the team, we come in, we do what we call a cybersecurity risk assessment. And that cybersecurity, now we've added cybersecurity AI risk assessment as well. So we're going to do that assessment to see where you are first before we start trying to make recommendations. So that's whenever we are getting ready to take our clients to the next level. We do that assessment. We come back to them a week or so later, and it's a paid engagement. But after that, then we show them where they are now, and then we can tell them where they can go next with us. And it's always best to be proactive. A lot of us smaller business say, well, it won't hack us. Every day, every 60 seconds of the day, there's someone getting hacked, whether they're small business or not. And whoever you're tied to, normally it could cause you to get hacked. So let's say, for example, CPA, if you have that you're dealing with, then I too have that same issue. Unfortunately, many years ago, I had a CPA that I used, and she was in the Virginia area. And one day she called me and she said, Lynette, um, I am trying to file your taxes. Did the extension, so it was an October time frame. I'm trying to file your taxes, but it got rejected. I said, oh, what do you mean it got rejected? She said, did you file your taxes already? I said, no, I did not. She says, well, I said, that's what you're for. What do you mean? So then she said, well, now she's a small company. She had about, it was herself and maybe one other person that helped her out as a consultant. And she said, well, let me call to, IRS and find out what's going on. So she called me back and she says, okay, got good news and bad news. Which one you want first? I said, the good news. She said, good news is I know what happened. Great. What's the bad news? Bad news is somebody's already filed taxes in your name. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And she said, yeah, they've already filed taxes in your name. And so we have to go through a process of proving that you're the right person that should have filed the taxes and not the bad actor. And so for the next 2 years plus, I spent over 30 plus hours of going in physically to the office of the IRS and getting the number and sitting down and being called by a number and showing them all kind of paperwork I had to take to them and prove that I am the person who should have been filing the taxes and not the bad actor. And as a result, it was extremely frustrating. So the second year it happened again. And finally, IRS said, okay, I believe you. We're going to give you a special PIN code to file your taxes going forward. And therefore, now I still have that PIN code that we use to file my taxes. But the thing about that is she's a small company. And, when you don't think about how important it is to just the little things that we ignore with our computers or whatever is telling us something is going wrong, and we don't know what we don't know, right? So you only know that once you get in there and do some kind of cybersecurity risk assessment to see what's going on, see if your email has been hacked, even your personal emails. A lot of people use their personal emails for the business. We have a way to check that as well. It's not as extensive, but we do have a little way to check to see if a personal email has been compromised as well. So what we recommend that you do is this, just be on the safe side. Don't be like the particular CPA that I'm no longer with, because obviously I can't trust them anymore. And, their reputation, I couldn't recommend anybody else to them. And so when she, for all we know, somebody else that she's dealing with could get hacked. We see it all the time on the news where a CPA firm, someone else, they get hacked. And then as a result, it shut down several of the hospitals. That was something that we read about recently in the news. I want to say it was last year that they had this major hospital that was shut down because their CPA was hacked. So it's who you're tied to as well. We want to be careful of that. If you're dealing with vendors, make sure you offboard them after you finish working with them. Or if they're still working with you, make sure that they're using credential managers. And most people say, well, what's a credential manager? Most people call it password manager. We always make sure that any resources we share with anybody we deal with, vendors, even obviously our employees, we make sure that they have a credential manager. And that credential manager, you can save everything in there, not just passwords, which is why we call it that. So you want to have an enterprise level of that as well. So you want to have a holistic approach. You want to have some security in all aspects. And that's what I recommend for everybody.
Listen, I don't know if y'all paid attention. If you didn't, go back and watch the recording. You want to make sure you're protected. You think you can trust people. That happened to my husband, that whole tax thing. So he has a PIN number on his account. And it was a tax preparer that did it, which was the craziest thing. Like, we had been doing the whole family taxes for years and try to fraud. It was ridiculous. God rest his soul. He's gone on to heaven now. But he did everybody like that. And then he went into hiding. But the difference about me and my husband, like, no, we gotta no, we gonna fix this. So we fixed it, and we were able to put a pin on his social with the IRS. If you have not taken care of any of these things, reach out to Lynette. She is a wonderful person. She knows her stuff. She speaks at the Georgia AI Summit. She's done it for 2 years in a row. She's one of our members at GWC. This is her website, icaretechgeeks.com. Her number is 404-935-4114. Go check her out. Give her a call. At least get the information that you need. Don't be afraid. I know it sounds like she probably charges a lot, and she probably does. I don't know, but you won't know until you call her. So give her a call, talk to her and her team, let them help you before this expiration date of Windows 10. Because here's the thing, you can't get Microsoft on the phone when it's not expiring. She just told you that. So why would you wait till it expires and it's even worse? So don't do that to yourself. Don't sit over there and pull your hair out because you didn't listen, all right? GWC members, GWC is the code that you use to take advantage of the wonderful discount that she's giving you guys. Lynette, thank you so much for being my guest today. Thank you so much for sharing all this great information with our viewers and our listeners around the world. And listen, don't wait, y'all. Don't sit there and drag your feet. And then the next thing you know, your Windows is not working. You have no one to call. You can't call Ghostbusters, but you can call I Care like right now. So make the call. All right. Thanks, Lynette. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'll see you again next Wednesday with another great guest. Until next time, my friends. Until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
You've been watching or listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the show today and share it with your friends by going to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com.